There is a headline from yesterday's New York Times that I must read to you. Jihadist groups gain in turmoil across Mideast. A challenge to Obama. This is the New York Times. Intensifying sectarian and clan violence has presented new opportunities for jihadist groups across the Middle East and raised concerns among American intelligence and counterterrorism officials that militants aligned with al-Qaeda could establish a base in Syria capable of threatening Israel and Europe. Are you listening to this? The new signs of an energized but fragmented jihadist threat stretching from Mali and Libya in the west to Yemen in the east have complicated the narrative of a weakened al-Qaeda that President Obama offered in May in a landmark speech heralding the end of the war on terrorism. This is probably the most important national security article I've seen in a very long time. It states exactly what I've been trying to warn you, which is that Obama's Arab Spring has been the greatest unmitigated disaster in American foreign policy history. When he knocked out Gaddafi in Libya, for example, you remember that story? Gaddafi was a bad man, but Gaddafi kept the tribes in check. Gaddafi warned the West before they killed him. He said, don't kill me, because if you do, you're going to have the equivalent of Somalia here in Libya. It will be an area that cannot be ruled by anyone. The tribes will take over. Well, they captured him, and without a trial, as with Saddam Hussein, our great fearless leaders giggled and said, we came, we saw, he died. And they laughed at him after he was dead. They killed him. They killed him like a mafia kills people. They killed a world leader right in front of plain sight. And what has resulted is not a better Libya, but a more unstable Libya. The same thing happened in Egypt. But thank God the Egyptian people threw out our stooge. Our stooge, Morsi, was put in there along with the Muslim Brotherhood. They threw the stooge out, and John McCain, who, by the way, should go to prison for what he did. When he and Lindsey Graham went over there to try to tell the Egyptian people, oh, no, you should keep Morsi. You have no right to put the military back and gain some freedoms back. You should keep our stooge. Do you realize what McCain did when he did that? Do you have any idea what he was saying? Well, this shows you that Obama's Middle East policies, the Arab Spring, which I termed an Arab winter shortly after it began because I saw it all, has been the greatest threat to your future national security you could ever imagine. We'll talk about that. The phone number is 855-107-282. Another topic I talked about was the fact that Obama's so-called Arab Spring, which was an Arab winter, has created a greater presence of jihadist groups in the Middle East, not a smaller presence, and that he was faking it when he said last year that, well, I'll read the New York Times. The new signs of an energized but fragmented jihadist threat stretching from Mali and Libya in the west to Yemen in the east have complicated, I love how they say complicated, the narrative of a weakened al-Qaeda that President Obama offered in May in a landmark speech in heralding the end of the war on terrorism. What they're saying is he lied and he was flat out wrong. But this is as far as the New York Times dares go in criticizing the great leader. Even Dianne Feinstein of California and Representative Mike Rogers of Michigan raised warnings in an interview on CNN on Sunday when they said that Americans were not safer from terrorists and terrorist attacks than in 2011. Really? Who would have thought? I thought that everything was better around the world because now we're ready to have yet another communist plan put into our face. See, it's not enough to have 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like every other day this guy has to drive another blow to the body politic. And he's not happy unless he does that. Let's go back to Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela did not do that to South Africa. Nelson Mandela ran for one term and resigned. Nelson Mandela then spent the rest of his life bringing the races together, along with de Klerk and others. He prevented violence. He didn't promote violence. He did not promote division. He promoted healing. He promoted healing, unlike this guy who is promoting the opposite of healing. He lives on rifts and crises. The man is not Nelson Mandela. I only pray, and I have one prayer, that when he goes to South Africa to the funeral, maybe he'll come back and he may be a changed man. Maybe the better part of Obama will come out because we sure haven't seen it yet. Let's go to the first caller.